Hi guys, Angel Eowyn here with the Angel Files. In this video, I'm covering bridges that seem to have appeared to many people, mainly water bridges. Just to clarify, what makes these bridges different from any other is the fact that they are filled with water for navigating boats over roads and motorways. Some of these navigable aqueducts have been around apparently for many, many years, yet this seems to be a new concept for many. I just wanted to point out two things here. Firstly, I cannot find any information on this image. All I have is a YouTube link, and it is indeed an aqueduct. I will provide the link below. It doesn't look like any of the other aqueducts that I've documented here because of the uniqueness of it going over the road motorway, but going under a rail bridge. But I cannot be 100% sure of that. It existed for the video, but it just doesn't exist in Google. I don't know what to make of that. Secondly, building these aqueducts is no mean feat. It's a huge effing project. I just watched a video on immersion of an aqueduct, which I will also include below in the description. And it's incredible how they do this, which really makes me wonder how the older aqueducts were constructed. The ones built in the 1800s, for example, the aqueduct in France. I mean, how did they do that? these bridges appearing because the landmass is shifting and we are bridging them together in this reality? Or is there another reason for them? If you've been following my other videos, you'll know that I try to find some kind of meaning behind these changes if possible. This is just my take on things. At the end of the day, you need to decide for yourselves what this may or may not mean. I will provide all the links below from this video in the description that led me to any conclusions. So I decided to look deeper into the symbology of bridges just to see what would come up. I mean, apart from the obvious. If we examine the symbolism of the bridge in tarot, dream interpretation, and symbology itself, we can see that it represents overcoming obstacles and difficulties, connections, progress, stability, hope, struggle, transition. Could this be ascension? Teamwork and cooperation. Could this be a reference to light workers or even the 144,000? It also represents crossing over from life to death. This reminds me of the Rainbow Bridge, where animals supposedly go when they cross over. Could this be a connection to the Rainbow Children or the Rainbow Warriors of the Hopi prophecy? Then we have birth, the crossing over from the other world to this. Perhaps this means our shifting or our transportation from the old reality to this new reality. Bridges in mythology takes us a step further, and I would like to go into this a little more in detail because here is where I think things get interesting. Okay, looking back beyond the historical past, the bridge structure has been around from the beginning of our mythical past. More than physical structure, the image of a bridge mythically symbolizes the pathway to paradise. It is a transition or movement to a better place. The transition over the bridge symbolizes what has been referred to as paradise found or the return. It is the final stage of myths and the ending of the journey. There are several aspects in the transition to paradise that the bridge embodies. The first is the crossing of the bridge itself, often a test or challenge of worthiness. The nature of the actual bridge may test the soul. Those who are evil or fail the tests fall into darkness or hell, while the good move safely to heaven. The Islamic religion believes in the path of the God. It is the size of a rope, and one must travel 3,000 miles or hours long, 1,000 upwards, 1,000 across, and 1,000 downwards to reach heaven. For the good souls, a white horse, reference to crystal children maybe, will be waiting to carry them across quickly. The wicked souls are burned by the fires of hell raging below, which causes them to fall. Other examples of symbolic bridges can be found in the Muslim tradition. They call this mythological passage the Bridge of Jehannam, Al-Sirat, or the Path. This bridge to paradise is narrower than a spider's thread and sharper than a sword. The wicked will fall into mid-hell, while the good will pass safely into heaven. The formal characteristics of the bridge differ in the Inca tradition. The Incas viewed Hanan Pacha, their version of heaven, as accessible only over a bridge woven from hairs. Looking at the Japanese Shinto religion gives us a view of the bridge Amo no Ukihashi, also known as the floating bridge of heaven. This connects the home of the sky gods, Takamagahara, to earth. Beyond the challenging nature of the bridge itself, many cultures believe that the bridge to heaven is watched over by a guardian who will either aid or hinder those who attempt to cross it. This bridge guardian exists to protect the pathway and judge potential crossers. The bridge of judgment in the Zoroastrian belief judges the true nature of a man. At death, every soul has an individual evaluation at the bridge of the separator, the Sinvat bridge, and is met by the personification of their soul and conscience. For the good, a beautiful maiden will await their arrival and take them safely to heaven. The path becomes wide and smooth, and their way is clear and easy. An ugly hag will meet the wicked, and the path narrows as they attempt to cross, causing them to fall into the pit of hell. Further examples of this include the Norse tradition, where Heimdall guards the bridge Bifrost connecting Midgard to Asgard. It is covered with flame to keep those unworthy of entering Asgard from crossing. It's usually depicted as a rainbow. There's the rainbow connection again. In the Native American Plains tribes, owl women guard the bridge to the afterlife. On the Malay Peninsula, the Menai Kayan have the tradition of Balan Bacham, or the Bridge of the Dead. This is guarded by Mampas to keep the wicked from travelling to Belet, the afterworld. The Persians have a different view, believing that Rashnu, personification of righteousness and divine angel of justice and last judgment, acts as guardian along with Mithra, god of light, and Sraoza, personification of obedience. Together they guard the bridge to heaven, Chinvat, where Rashnu judges the soul on golden scales. The wide assortment of cultural myths vividly reinforces the universal characteristics of the bridge. Deeply engulfed in our mythological background, the symbolism of bridges has reinvented itself in modern-day life. The Norwegian folktale, The Three Billy Goats Gruff, tells the story of three goats that wish to travel across a bridge where green grass is plentiful. This cliched concept of wanting to go where the grass is greener references the desire to travel to a better place or paradise. As the three goats make their way across the bridge to paradise, they're confronted and delayed by the evil troll. Before they can continue on the other side, they must defeat this troll in some manner. This challenge represents the final test on the path to heaven. It is the testing of the soul and Judgment Day. In this tale, the judgment is represented by a physical guardian of the way, the troll. Through trickery and using their heads, figuratively and literally, the three goats pass the test. After proving their worth, the three billy goats gruff make their way to the green hills and happily gorge themselves on the lush grass. At last they have reached paradise. This fairy tale has been manifested in concrete. In lower downtown Seattle, the mythical bridge makes its appearance in a not-so-subtle way. Spanning Lake Union, the Aurora Bridge connects the high-class Queen Anne neighborhood to the down-to-earth artsy Fremont district. To travel to the upscale Queen Anne area, however, one must first face the task of bypassing the troll, whose image is straight out of The Three Billy Goats Gruff. This large troll, designed by architect Steve Badamus, resides under the Fremont side of the bridge and has become an icon of the area, as well as the destination for many Halloween parties. In this way, the deeply rooted concept of the troll under the bridge to heaven has abstracted itself and been manifested in a loving, playful way. The many tourists who visit the Fremont Troll have no idea that they are actually meeting one personification of that which will judge their own souls. This troll was posted a few months ago as a possible ME in one of the Mandela Effect groups, and now it crops up in reference to mythological symbology for the bridge. Originating in worldwide mythology and physically manifested today, the symbolism of bridges is deep and multifaceted. From the obscure to the well-known, different cultures, mythologies show us that bridges are clearly much more than simply a means to cross over a gap in the landscape. Mythically speaking, these magnificent structural feats are man attempting to recreate the pathway to heaven in the physical world and control our own transition to paradise. As I was checking out Rainbow Bridge from The Connection earlier, this is what I found. According to a recent news article, Rainbow Bridge has drawn national attention for its cultural significance to a group of Native American people, including the Navajo, Hopi, Paiute, Zuni, and the Ute tribes. The National Park Service has named the bridge a traditional cultural property because of its cultural significance to some American Indian tribes. It is now listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Also worth mentioning here is that the image to the website of the above article was also in my rainbow video as a possible Mandela effect, and the Grand Canyon Skywalk is considered by many to be a Mandela effect. I then decided to take a closer look at the so-called Rainbow Warriors, which had also cropped up before for me and is part of the Hopi prophecy. The Hopi prophecy mentioned this: when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of earth from many colours, classes and creeds, and who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. They will be known as the Warriors of the Rainbow. The Hopi tradition describes the gathering of 144,000 rainbow warriors or sun dancers who will unite the earth. So what is the 144,000? Well, the number 144,000 is deeply embedded in the Akashic records of Earth. There is reference made by many spiritual groups and world religions as to the significance and necessity of the 144,000 beings required to be the critical mass that will bring about a radical transformation of humanity and our beloved planet of choice. I'm not going to go into detail here. I will just mention the references and leave the links where possible below in the description. The 144,000 is referenced in the following areas: the Book of Revelation 3 times, the companions of the Islamic prophet Muhammad, astrology and the zodiac constellations, New Age movements such as the Church Universal and Triumphant, the ancient Maya long count calendar, the Great Pyramid of Giza 3 times, Hinduism, the Ashtar command, the petals of the main chakra, the petals of the 5 inferior psychic centers, the Gospel of Barnaby, and the Emerald Tablet. So, my personal take on the 144,000. We as individuals are not powerful enough to change the reality of everyone on this earth, but we can change it in our own lives to a certain degree. There is power to manifestation through positive thinking and belief. Even scientists are beginning to recognize this. So what if the 144,000 is the number of people as a collective that it would take to change the reality of this world for everyone? A mass manifestation. I believe it was referenced also a little earlier. Think about it. The more the Mandela effect becomes known, the more people are starting to believe it. Therefore, each thought is getting closer to being manifested by the required 144,000. These numbers will just increase as more and more people join the ME community. Perhaps this is why the changes are getting more frequent. It may also explain the waves. How many of us have experienced a succession of good luck or bad luck? How many times have we said, "Oh, I'm on a roll," or "Why does this always happen to me?" We focus on that and believe it is the case, so it continues until we break that thread, either through the development of another mindset or some random event that breaks that cycle. Before I end this video, I would like to leave you all with the following thought. Each person is created with an intellect and free will. These capacities allow us to independently search for the truth eventually. If we seek hard enough, we find it. What you choose to do at that time is strictly up to you. It's called the freedom of choice. Seek the truth and the truth will set you free. I am Angel Eowyn from the Angel Files. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to get all my future videos, which I will be regularly uploading. Have a great day and see you soon.